Okay, so let's try and get our heads around this. Just imagine for a second, right? A situation so completely brazen.
Yeah, almost unbelievable.
Exactly. It sounds like something out of a really dark comedy or something. What if you could just decide you want to build a massive house?
A luxury place, yeah.
A full-on mansion even, and you don't own the land.
Right.
You don't get any permits. You don't ask anyone at all.
Just build.
Just build it. And then, and this is the kicker, what if that huge, totally illegal building actually stayed there?
For years.
For years, just standing there, everything. Logic, property law, basic common sense.
It's the kind of thing you think couldn't possibly happen, right? Like in the real world?
You'd think so.
Maybe in some, like, crazy dystopian movie.
Right, where all the rules are just gone.
Yeah, completely broken down. You'd assume it's impossible anywhere.
And here's where it gets really, really wild and honestly pretty disturbing. In Budapest. Hungary. Someone actually did this. And right now, as we're talking, it's not just an idea. It's real.
It's a physical building.
A big one. Still standing. Still lived in.
Okay.
It's the kind of thing that just makes you stop and think, you know? You see these headlines, almost like jokes.
Like what?
Like, steal a plot, build a house, live in it, no consequences.
Right.
Or even more blunt, like, no land, no rights, no problem, Budapest's real estate hack.
It sounds like satire, but it's real life.
It is. And this case, it doesn't just bend the rules.
Oh, no, it completely shatters them. Yeah. It really does. It fundamentally challenges, everything we think we understand about property rights.
Yeah, and urban planning.
Exactly. And just the basic idea of the rule of law in a place that's supposed to be well organized.
It makes you ask some really deep questions, doesn't it? Like, who is the law actually for?
And does it even matter if someone just decides to ignore it so blatantly?
And that, you, our listener, that's exactly what we're going to tackle in this deep dive. We're going to carefully, meticulously pull back the layers on this just unprecedented case, this illegal construction in Budapest.
It's almost unthinkable, really.
We're calling it this lawless construction tale. We want to dig into the how. How on earth did this happen step by audacious step?
Yeah, the mechanics of it are mind-boggling.
And the what? What are the real measurable impacts? The damage done to everyone else involved?
Which is significant. Very significant.
And maybe the biggest question, what does it all mean? What are the, frankly, chilling implications for you, for homeowners, for anyone who believes in fairness?
And for the whole concept of justice, really. Accountability in society.
Exactly. This isn't just some weird local story to chuckle about.
No, not at all. It's a really disturbing cautionary tale. It shines a very harsh light on these massive gaps in accountability.
And the kind of fragile nature of our shared spaces, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And maybe even more troubling, it says something about the institutions that are supposed to protect that integrity.
So yeah, prepare yourself. This might challenge some basic assumptions you have about how the world should work.
Definitely. This deep dive, it might leave you with more questions than answers, honestly, about justice, about fairness in certain places.
Okay, so to really get the full impact, the sheer audacity of this whole thing, we need to picture the scene.
Right. Location is key here.
Because this isn't some, derelict backlot somewhere remote where nobody's looking.
Not even close.
No, this is happening way up high on the Buda Hills in Budapest. A really well-known area. Prestigious. Beautiful.
And the exact spot is, well, it's pretty jaw-dropping when you hear it.
Yeah.
The sources say it's in the garden of a locally significant listed building.
A listed building, so protected status, right?
Presumably, yes. And it's not just any garden. It's part of a condominium.
Meaning shared property, co-owned.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's in an area surrounded by diplomat residences.
Diplomats. Get out of here.
Yeah. People representing international law and order living practically next door to this massive violation.
The irony is just, wow.
It's thick, isn't it?
So prestigious area, historically significant building, shared property, diplomats next door.
And natural beauty, too. It's described as being bordered by forest. Lots of wildlife.
So exactly the kind of place where you'd expect, you'd demand strict rules, meticulous oversight.
Absolutely. A place where regulations aren't just suggestions, they're enforced rigorously.
It's the complete opposite of a place you'd think someone could get away with. Well, with this,
And that dissonance, that contrast, it just screams audacity, doesn't it? The sheer nerve of doing it there.
it defies all rational expectation for an area like that. It's not some forgotten corner where things slip through.
No, it's prominent. It's protected.
Right.
Or at least it should be.
Which makes the failure to stop it even more stunning. And it's really important. You, listening, understand this isn't just some private spat over a fence line. That Facebook post we looked at makes it crystal clear. It says it's about the other neighbor of this condominium who took the majority of the shared part of the property.
Right. Shared property. Stolen.
And for listeners who caught our earlier deep dive, episode 8, Hell on the Hills, we actually touched on other neighbor issues in this exact community. Remember the stuff about the protected greenery?
I do, yes. It provides some context.
It really does. It suggests this might not be just a one-off crazy incident. It hints maybe there's a pattern, or at least an environment where this kind of disregard, it festers.
It certainly suggests a pattern of boundary pushing, let's say, where rules, legal or physical, seem optional for some people.
Which is deeply unsettling if you live in any kind of shared property arrangement,
Right.
a condo, anything like that.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder, if it can happen there, in that supposedly protected spot, what about your place? What guarantees do you really have?
Okay, so we've set the scene. Prestigious location, shared land. Now let's get into the actual construction. Because what's truly mind-bending isn't just that it happened, but how it happened.
The evolution of it.
Exactly. This wasn't like a secret midnight build.
No quick job under the radar.
No. It was slow, deliberate, incremental, but just relentless expansion, starting way back in 2018.
And continuing, as the sources say, until nowadays.
Until nowadays. That phrase just hangs there, doesn't it? It speaks volumes about the lack of stopping it.
It really does. A sustained failure of intervention. And we even have things like Google Street View showing the changes over time.
You can literally see it grow.
Yeah. It's like a time lapse of defiance, visible to anyone who looks.
Yeah.
And yet, it kept going.
Unbelievable. So let's break down this timeline, this gradual takeover, because it's almost a textbook case of how to slowly steal land and space. Phase 1, around 2018, it didn't even start with building, did it?
No, it started with destruction, essentially, clearing the ground.
The sources say, first they cut the trees on the street and the plot.
Right. And not just a little pruning. At the same time, they removed hundreds of cubic meters of earth from that same spot.
Hundreds of cubic meters. That's a lot of earth.
It's significant excavation. Not just clearing. It's reshaping the landscape, preparing for something big.
And that source, Garden Shed to Grand House, it paints this picture, almost sarcastic, of a master plan.
Ah, yes, the master plan.
It says the idea was inherit a small gardener's lodge and garage,
Okay.
and then instead of, renovating, call in the bulldozers.
Right. Straight to demolition and excavation.
Attack the garage, the shared attic, even the street itself.
And the description of the environmental cost is pretty brutal.
It is. Removing a basement level worth of earth, plus all trees, bushes, flowers, plants, earthworms, and their friends.
Earthworms and their friends.
Ugh.
It sounds almost poetic, but it highlights the total disregard for the living environment, doesn't it?
Completely. It's not just about property lines, it's ecological vandalism is step one.
Definitely. Especially in a place like the Buddha Hills, known for its nature. Wiping out greenery, habitat. It's a violation in itself, even before the illegal building starts.
It set the stage. Destroy first, build second.
Precisely.
So phase 2. After the destruction, the building begins. On land they don't own.
Yep. Then they slowly began to build. First, a structure on the street and in the condominium's garden.
Right there, crossing the line. Shared property and public property.
And the scale of it becomes clear. That Facebook post mentions the final result is a 6 times larger villa in the garden of the condominium than what she's owning legally.
6 times larger.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
6 times the legal footprint. Just taken.
It's staggering, and the post specifies she built a 2-level building on the street and the condominium's garden.
So a substantial structure, not just a little shed or fence. A 2-story building spilling onto the street and the shared garden.
It's a direct assault on both public and shared private space.
It really is. The audacity is almost hard to comprehend. How do you even think you can do that?
Let alone actually do it in plain sight.
Yeah. It suggests an incredible level of entitlement. or perceive impunity.
And it didn't stop there, did it? Phase 3 was just
More.
keep expanding.
Relentlessly. They even started cannibalizing the original shared building.
How so?
Then they demolished the commonly owned attic of the existing building and, in its place, built a larger one for themselves.
So they went inside the shared structure and just took the attic.
Took it. Demolished the shared version, rebuilt it bigger, purely for their own private use. A direct appropriation of a shared asset.
That's another level of violation affecting all the co-owners directly.
Absolutely. It's not just external encroachment anymore.
And the expansions just kept rolling. Then they expanded on the northern side, then the western side, then the eastern side, then the northern side again.
It sounds like they were just probing, testing, pushing outwards wherever they could.
Like an invasive species or something.
That garden shed to grand house source again, with its dark humor.
What does it say?
It details building a new raised roof, making that stolen attic into living space. And this Sylvillian, sparklingly new two-story building popping up on the old garage spot, the street, the front garden, the side garden.
It sounds almost proud of the brazenness.
It reads that way, doesn't it? Look how easy this is.
And still more additions. Luxury features.
Oh yeah, expanded with a winter garden. Then, incredibly, another winter garden.
Another one.
Yes, and a new extension on the western facade, just piling it on, flaunting it almost.
Adding value illegally without approval.
And the final land grab. Plus, they took another approximately 50 centimeters of the condominium's land for a terrace.
50 square meters. That's a decent chunk of garden.
About 540 square feet. Just
Right.
absorbed. Gone from the shared space.
Wow. Okay. And then phase 4, it actually becomes dangerous.
Yeah, this is where it crosses from property issues into direct public safety hazards.
What happened?
The source says. And don't forget the street. If they managed to get away with building their house on public land so far, they built stairs leading up to about 2.5 meters high.
Okay, stairs onto the street.
But be careful to do it without a railing in case curious people break themselves.
Stairs 2.5 meters high with no railing. On public land.
That's what it says. It's not just ugly, it's genuinely dangerous. A massive liability and a complete disregard for anyone walking by.
That's appalling. Truly.
And then there's the retaining wall.
Oh, I remember reading about this. This sounds bad.
It does. The source warns, if you still have strength, build a retaining wall perpendicular to the direction of traffic on the street, directly next to the traffic lane.
Perpendicular to traffic. Right next to the road.
But here you should start praying, because only the heavens can save anyone who deviates a little from the designated lane.
My God, that's not just an obstruction. That's potentially lethal.
It's incredibly reckless. Building a solid wall right where a car might swerve slightly, it shows zero concern for public safety, basic engineering sense, anything, all just to shore up their illegal structure.
So, okay, we've got this timeline. Years of construction, environmental damage, taking shared land, taking public land, building a massive house, creating actual death traps on the street.
Yeah, laid out like that, it's quite something.
Which brings us back to that core question, how? How does this happen over years in plain sight in that location without anyone stepping in immediately?
That silence, that inaction. It's the elephant in the room, isn't it?
It's the whole room.
Yeah.
It leads us straight into talking about the authorities, or rather the lack thereof.
The missing watchdogs.
Yeah.
It's central to understanding how this was even possible.
Okay, so we've painted a pretty grim picture of the illegal construction itself, how it grew, and the danger it poses. Now let's really focus on the cost, the actual tangible damage this lawlessness has caused, because it's not abstract.
No, it's very real. And the first, most direct hit is financial, on the other people living there, the condominium owners.
How bad is it?
The sources are specific. The condominium's damage exceeds $250,000.
Wow. $250,000?
Yeah, that's a huge amount for a group of homeowners to suddenly face because of one person's illegal actions.
And it's not like they did anything wrong. They're the victims here, essentially subsidizing this illegal build.
Exactly. Whether it's repair costs, legal fees, devaluation, whatever it is, that $250,000 burden falls on the innocent parties.
It just highlights that question, doesn't it? When the system fails, who pays the price?
The law-abiding citizens, it seems. A profound injustice baked right in.
And beyond the money, there's the destruction of the shared space, the public space.
Right. The source says the public area turned into a concrete wasteland, its use severely hindered and limited.
Imagine that. What was probably a nice green, usable space. Just paved over, gone.
Turned into part of someone's private, illegal compound. And those specific safety hazards we mentioned, They're part of this cost, too.
Yeah, that retaining wall, illegally built retaining wall makes it dangerous. That quote sticks with you.
And the 2.5-meter stairs with no railing, right next to the traffic light.
It's not just an eyesore, it's actively endangering the public. Anyone using that street.
Which is a cost borne by the entire community, not just the immediate neighbors.
And then the ecological cost. We touched on it earlier, but it's worth repeating.
Definitely. Ecological consequences are present. Squirrels, birds, and other small animals that once lived there became homeless.
It's heartbreaking, really, wiping out a local habitat.
It shows the ripple effect, doesn't it? A private act of greed having public environmental consequences. Disregard for law, disregard for nature. It seems to go hand in hand here.
Yeah, it's a failure on multiple levels. Legal, ethical, ecological.
And then there's the human cost. Maybe the hardest to quantify, but incredibly real.
What do the sources say about the neighbors?
Just this chillingly simple line. Neighbors just watched in shock what was and what is happening.
Watched in shock. That says so much.
It speaks to that feeling of helplessness, right? Frustration. Watching the rules get broken day after day right in front of you, knowing you're being harmed, your property rights violated.
And feeling powerless to stop it.
Exactly. Imagine the stress, the anger, the erosion of trust in everything. In your neighbors, in the authorities, in the system itself.
It's not just about concrete and property lines. It's about that feeling of being abandoned, betrayed by the very system meant to protect you.
That's a deep wound. It undermines your sense of security, your belief in fairness.
Yeah, it's just devastating for a community.
Like how audacious construction, tangible damages, financial, safety, ecological, human.
Yeah.
Now, the part that makes steam come out of your ears.
The silence of the watchdogs?
The profound, years-long, inexplicable silence of the authorities who were supposed to prevent exactly this kind of thing.
This is where it really tips into systemic failure, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sources don't mince words. No, they don't. Authorities were completely inactive for a long time.
And even more damning, no authorities made any steps to stop her for years.
Years. While this massive illegal structure is going up, brick by brick, expansion by expansion, visible to everyone.
Right. And the main body, the building authority. They only started doing anything in 2022.
2022. By which point, the source says the builders were happily living in the house.
They'd finished it and moved in before the authority even formally started proceedings.
So the obvious question is, why? Why the massive delay? What possible excuse could there be? It just doesn't compute.
It really doesn't. That delay itself effectively acted as a green light, didn't it? Whether intentional or just through negligence, it allowed this situation to become entrenched.
And then, even when they did finally start a procedure in 2022, the failures just continued.
Right. Theoretically, there's a 60-day legal deadline for a decision in these cases in Hungary.
60 days. Sounds reasonable. Should be quick.
But the decision only came in 2024.
2 years later.
2 years after starting the procedure. And what was the decision?
Not demolition. Not restore the land, which you'd think would be the obvious outcome for a completely illegal build on stolen land.
Nope. The decision was simply to instruct the builder to apply for a retrospective permit.
A retrospective permit. So basically, okay, you built it illegally, now just try and make it legal after the fact.
That's exactly what it looks like. And this is a critical point the sources raise. The authority, quote, did not order demolition and restoration, but ordered them to apply for a retrospective permit.
That seems backward. It almost rewards the illegal act, doesn't it?
It certainly seems to offer a path to legitimization rather than punishment. It sends a terrible message. Break the law first, worry about permits later, maybe. It incentivizes this kind of behavior.
And did the builder even meet the deadline for that retrospective application?
Apparently not. The source says they submitted it in April 2025, months exceeding the prescribed deadline.
So even given this incredibly lenient path, they still couldn't meet the deadline.
It suggests a continued pattern of, disregard for the process, apparently without immediate consequence.
And throughout all this, what about the people actually affected? The other owners, were they kept in the loop?
That's another major issue highlighted, lack of transparency. The other affected parties were not informed in detail about this because despite their client rights, the affected owners are not provided with access to documents.
They couldn't even see the documents about the case impacting their own property.
According to the source, no, despite having client rights, which makes it incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for them to understand what's happening or advocate for themselves effectively.
That's outrageous. It feels like the system is protecting the violator, not the victims, keeping them in the dark.
It certainly fosters that impression. A profound lack of accountability and respect for the rights of those harmed.
And it wasn't just the building authority asleep at the wheel, was it?
No, the failure was apparently much broader. The sources list other agencies that could have acted but didn't. Disaster management, police, public area supervision, etc. could have taken action, but no one did anything.
Disaster management, police, public area supervision.
Yeah. Which tells you this wasn't just a minor zoning issue. It touched on public safety, public order, management of public spaces.
And they all did nothing.
According to the sources, nothing for years. It points to a systemic paralysis, not just one rogue department.
Wow. It really is when law fails, isn't it? A total breakdown across multiple agencies.
It suggests something deeper is going on, either extreme incompetence, apathy, or something else preventing them from doing their jobs.
Right. Which leads us directly to the something else possibility, the inescapable question, how? How does someone get away with all this?
We've seen the damage, the inaction, now the how, the enabling factors.
And this is where it gets really uncomfortable, potentially explosive.
Yes. That source, it drops a bombshell.
What does it say?
Yeah.
Lay it out.
It states, quite plainly, the person behind this illegal mansion is a close relative of a leading politician from Hungary's ruling party.
Okay, there it is. A close relative of a leading politician in the ruling party.
And the source immediately asks the question everyone's thinking. Coincidence? Maybe. But would you get away with it?
Yeah, that hits hard. Would you, the listener, get away with building a mansion on your neighbor's garden and the street?
It stretches coincidence to the breaking point for many observers. Given the sheer scale, the duration, the multi-agency inaction.
It immediately raises the specter of influence, doesn't it? Whether direct or indirect.
Exactly. That chilling effect. The idea that maybe authorities were reluctant to enforce the law vigorously against someone with powerful connections.
And thinking back to that earlier deep dive, Hell on the Hills and the destruction of protected greenery, the source connects those dots too, asking, you think it's just a coincidence that it happened right before this construction began?
Implying a potential pattern. A disregard for rules, perhaps enabled or protected by those connections. It's an unsettling thought.
It paints a picture where maybe, just maybe, the rules applied differently depending on who you know.
Which is the very definition of a breakdown in the rule of law, isn't it?
Yeah.
Selective enforcement based on status or connection.
But the source is careful to say it's not just about potential political connections, right? It was a perfect storm.
Absolutely. It points to a systemic breakdown involving multiple factors working together.
Like what else?
Well, first, right within the condominium itself, a property manager who openly said, I don't care.
I don't care. The person paid to manage the shared property?
Yep. A complete betrayal of trust and duty, actively looking the other way, or worse, facilitating it through inaction right at the ground level.
That's complicity, plain and simple. What else contributed?
The broader context, a deregulated system where even the relaxed rules are ignored.
So maybe the rules were already weak, but even those weak rules weren't being followed.
That's the implication. An environment permissive of violations, where the existing framework, even if relaxed, is treated as irrelevant.
Which creates fertile ground for this kind of thing.
Exactly. And then, circling back to what we already discussed, and authorities who delay enforcement or skip it altogether.
Reinforcing that consistent pattern of official inaction across the board.
So you have this toxic mix. Alleged political influence creating cover, internal betrayal by the manager, a generally lax regulatory environment, and then authorities who simply don't act.
It's a perfect storm of impunity. Each failure enables the next, allowing it to spiral from a small issue into this monster.
Precisely. It wasn't just one thing. It was the convergence of all these factors that allowed this illegal mansion to become a reality and persist. It's a deeply troubling illustration of how fragile the rule of law can be when faced with this combination of circumstances.
Okay, so we've gone through the whole shocking story. The build, the damage, the missing authorities, the enabling factors, including those disturbing potential connections.
It's a lot to take in. A real case study in how things can go spectacularly wrong.
So now let's pull back. What's the bigger picture here? What does this illicit manner tell us beyond just this one case in Budapest? What does it mean for you listening?
Yeah, the implications are significant. This case is like a flashing red light warning about the erosion of the rule of law. The source asks it directly. What this really tells us about construction laws in Hungary.
But it feels bigger than just hungry, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The core questions resonate everywhere. Like these two, the source poses. If no one enforces the law, do we still have one?
Right. Is a law that isn't enforced still a law?
And even deeper, what is law worth if neither citizens nor the state respect it?
These are huge questions, existential almost for how society functions.
They really are. This case demonstrates how quickly rule of law can just dissolve into rule of connections or just sheer impunity.
When laws become optional extras depending on who you are.
Exactly. The whole system loses its legitimacy. It stops being a shield for everyone and becomes something the powerful can just bypass.
And think about what that means for your security, your property rights. The source puts it starkly. Would you buy land or a home in a country where your neighbor can just take it?
Yeah. No permission, no ownership, and no one stops them.
The very idea is terrifying. It undermines the basic trust needed to invest, to build a life somewhere.
It sets a catastrophic precedent. If this stands, it suggests legal ownership is less important than audacity and connections, which is why those provocative phrases jump out.
Like, this illegal mansion proves the law doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, or that sarcastic one. Buying land is for losers stealing. It is easier.
Or the urban monopoly hack. Build wherever you want.
They're hyperbolic, maybe, but they capture the chilling message this case sends. Maybe the rules are just for the little guys.
It implies that playing by the rules makes you a sucker if others can just ignore them without consequence. It's a deeply cynical, corrosive message.
It is. Which is why it's so important to also highlight the ethical dimension here. Even amidst this failure of enforcement, the sources stress the basic principles that were violated.
Right, like never take what belongs to someone else. Never claim shared property as your own unless you have clear and legal consent.
It's fundamental. It's not complex law. It's basic decency, grade school stuff.
And the other principle, do no harm, must be the principle that comes before all others.
Exactly. A reminder that even if the legal system fails, there's still a moral compass, a responsibility we have to each other in a community.
And this leads to that really crucial disclaimer we need to make crystal clear.
Yes, the one from the Facebook post. Well, we've detailed how this happened.
We absolutely do not recommend anyone try it, the source says. However, we note we would never recommend anyone to start playing like her and take anyone's property.
And it continues. If you want to build your own house, the very first step is to find the plot and buy it. Seems obvious, but apparently needs saying.
Apparently so, it adds. You can miss this phase, and as today's deep dive will show you, it could work for a while, but definitely not as a permanent solution. Taking someone else's property or the streets and use them as your own is a no-go.
Right, it's a no-go.
And let us be absolutely clear for you, our listener. We are reporting on this case, using the sources provided. We stand with the harmed community. We are not endorsing this behavior in any way, shape, or form. This is a cautionary tale, not an instruction manual.
Absolutely. It's a study in systemic failure and ethical collapse, not a blueprint for action. It shows what can happen when things go wrong, not what should happen.
Okay, so wrapping this up, it's been quite a journey into this unbelievable situation. We've seen the sheer audacity of the construction, how it grew and grew.
We've detailed the huge costs, financial, safety, environmental, and the deep human toll on the neighbors.
We've exposed the shocking, years-long silence and inaction from multiple authorities.
And we've explored the enabling factors, including that deeply troubling issue of potential political influence, creating a perfect storm for impunity.
But as we said, this story isn't finished.
No, the sources make that clear. We're keeping a close eye on this case, and we'll be back with updates. Or with the silence that follows.
That silence that follows part is ominous, isn't it? It leaves open the real possibility that justice might not prevail here.
It does. But the pressure points, the targets for action, are clear. The sources name them. The local government, Onkormnizat, the capital city, Faros, the ministry, Ministerium.
These are the bodies that need to step up. Finally, their credibility is on the line here.
Absolutely. This case is a direct challenge to their effectiveness and their commitment to equal justice under law.
So we want to leave you, our listener, with a final thought, something to chew on. Given everything we've discussed, the blatant law-breaking, the official inaction, the power dynamics possibly at play, what does this case really tell us about how things actually work? About the real value of formal laws versus informal power?
Are the laws just suggestions when push comes to shove? Or do they truly bind everyone equally?
And maybe even more importantly, if the system, the state, fails to enforce its own rules, what role is left for citizens? for people like those neighbors.
Yeah. What power do ordinary people have to demand accountability when the official channels seem blocked or indifferent? What's their recourse when they're left fighting seemingly alone against injustice?
It's a tough question. Think about it. Would you dare try something like this? What's your theory on how this was allowed to happen and why it's still standing? Let us know in the comments. We really do want to hear your take.
And please remember, everything we've presented is based on public records, on real events. We urge everyone, always act within the law, but more than that, act with basic human decency.
That principle again, do no harm.
It has to come first.
Help keep the pressure on. Help make sure the right people, the authorities responsible, are finally held accountable for this failure. This has been The Deep Dive for now.